Magandang gabi po ulit sa inyong lahat. Welcome back to LIRA in Law, broadcasting live from London, England. And of course, it's our usual Thursday evening get-together nga. When we will be discussing legal updates nga, especially immigration po. So yung pag-uusapan nga natin ngayon. So welcome back, and I'm certainly pleased to be with you tonight nga. Usual big topic. So ang topic po natin is CARERS, or change again. Now, alam niyo siguro, from in about December last year, which not too long ago, the Home Office made a whole load of announcements, no? Anong mangyayari sa immigration, ang magbabago nga, going from really people who come into work, mga tao dito papasok sa spouse o partners nga, and that's been continuing. It's 2024, I think, will be one of the busiest for immigration practitioners like me. And and they did not disappoint. And one of the things nga is CARERS. So that was announced, as I say, in about December nga last year. Although before that, there were already rumblings about making changes to do with CARERS nga, and substantial changes certainly have been made or will be implemented very shortly for those coming into the UK. Pero yun nga, let's focus on CARERS. Now, una po, basic question, no? With the changes that are coming into play, can you still enter the United Kingdom to work as a carer? Can you come in on the basis of employment nga as a carer? The answer is yes, absolutely you can, but with quite a lot of restrictions. Yung titignan nga natin, and we're going to see if we can also look at those in a bit more detail. So ano bang ibig sabihin ng mga nagbagong batas, at saka kung nagbago nga yung mga tao nandito, ano bang mangyayari nga sa kanila, kung mga tao, kung hindi pa nga sila nakapasok, kung nandito sila pero ibang visa. So all those titingnan po natin. So as usual nga, ang show natin is very practical, and that's what we're going to continue nga doing today. So sabi ko nga, kung gusto niyo pumasok dito as a carer, kung meron nga kayong sponsor, can you still do that? Yes, you can, but with limits. So, carers remain to be part of ang tawag nga shortage occupation list. But there's another change. I'm not frankly sure why they're bothering to change it, but they're going to rename the shortage occupation list to the immigration salary list. As I say, I don't really see that there's why they're looking to change it, but they're going to change it. So next time kung meron kayong mabasa ang tawag immigration salary list, that's the same as now the shortage occupation list. Now, carers, kung papasok kayo dito as a carer, you need to come within what they call codes nga, of employment. So carers are under a code 6145. So tingnan natin kung anong sabing 6145 code. Let me just see if I can find it nga dito. The code that explains the ito po. Okay. So, sabi nga dito, occupation code 6145, carers and home carers, no? So basically, it includes in bullet points to the right, makikita nyo, care assistant, care worker, carer, home care assistant, home carer, support worker, say in nursing home. So a whole load nga of different types of posts come within the 6145 yung code nga as carers. And basically, that's working in England nga, eligible under that occupation. Yun nga, no? So if you are in those jobs, then carer nga kayo. So ang code nyo 6145. Now, anong ibig sabihin ng shortage occupation list? And it would soon be part of this immigration salary list. What is it? Why is it that say carers or people nga under the shortage occupation list is being treated differently? So ito po ang dahilan nila. The background nga is this. So there's some skill sets like carers nga, nurses, doctors. I mean, a whole gambit, of course, of those people in the healthcare industry nga, and also some types of engineers, welders, bricklayers. All of those people, they say are shortage, are in short supply. No? Those skill sets nga, sabi nila, kulang dito. So they want to be able to recruit more people with those types of skill sets. So in the past, and that remains to be the case, no? Sabi nila, okay, kung ganyan ang trabaho nyo, kung ganun ang skill set nyo, then we want you in the UK, and we want to encourage employers to also recruit you. No? So that's why ang nangyari po, in some 2 years back, dinagdag nila to the shortage occupation list are carers. So sabi nila, okay, come recruit carers dahil kailangan namin mga carers. So if you're part of the shortage occupation list or soon to be immigration salary list jobs, ibig sabihin, usually, it's easier to come into the country, no? Mas mabilis pa. They prioritize those people. They get a discount also on the home office fee. With some jobs also, there's no IHS fee or very limited IHS. IHS, by the way, is immigration health surcharge. That's your contribution to the NHS. Now, also it could be that it's a faster process nga, and it's also sometimes the case that you don't need to show as much money, no, by way of maintenance. So it is, they encourage certain skill sets to come into the United Kingdom, and carers, as I say, at the moment at least, are part of that. Now, so they still recognize, and it continues to be part of it, no? So the government still recognize, the Home Office recognize na kailangan pa rin ng mga carers, but they are limiting people being able to enter the UK by imposing various conditions. So may mga restrictions. Tingnan natin mga restrictions. Unang-una po, what are the changes, no? So the change starts really with the people who are recruiting you, yung employer nyo or prospective employer nyo nga dito. If your care providers in England will now need to, who will only be able to sponsor care workers in the UK if they are registered, if they're regulated by the Care Quality Commission, no? Yung Care Quality Commission, basically, because they monitor, no, organizations who provide care to either the elderly or vulnerable people. So they want to check na you are doing things properly, that you are following, you're compliant with health and safety, mga ganoon. So ngayon, kung wala silang, kahit meron silang lisensya, sponsorship license nga, hindi sila pwedeng mag-recruit galing sa Pilipinas, for example, kung hindi nga sila nakarehistro doon sa Care Quality Commission ang tawag, no? If they're not registered, they cannot sponsor people from abroad to work in the United Kingdom. There's some exemptions nga to that, but I can't see kung most carers that I deal with are here to deal with vulnerable people. So I can't really see that there are many care providers who are going to be exempt from registering. So yun ang una, kailangan may dalawang, so hindi nga lang lisensya, sponsorship license, but also that they're registered with the Care Quality Commission. Now, what is the Care Quality Commission? So tingnan nga natin, let's have a look at the website, no? Very briefly nga. Tingnan ko na, papakita ko sa inyong website nga dito of the Care Quality Commission, if I can bring it up. Sandali. Oh, ito po, no? So, Care Quality Commission. Now, what is registration, for example? So, it's a whole website nga. It's really for you, para sa employer nyo, to check, do they have to register, what to do when they're registering. Pero kailangan nga ito. Now, so, kung mag-a-apply nga kayo, sabihin natin nasa Pilipinas kayo, interesado kayong pumasok nga dito as a carer. Meron kayong employer na, so sabi nila, meron nga silang lisensya. But the next thing to check, no, is are they actually registered with the Care Quality Commission? Because kung hindi nga sila registered, they can't actually recruit you. So you can actually go on their website. Makikita nyo dyan, itong website na itong pinapakita ko sa inyo, makikita nyo dyan, nandun bang pangalan nila? No? So there will be a list. There's a list of organizations kung nandun sila. Kung hindi nga kayo, kung hindi nyo makita o gusto nyo nagtataka nga kayo, hindi nyo, bakit wala nga sila doon, ask, no? Because sometimes nga mga tao, they say, oh yeah, walang problema, bibigyan ko kayo ng cost. no, and they can't because they have not registered. So kung hindi nga kayo sigurado, ask, because of course it's a big deal to leave any country nga to come to the UK to work. And sometimes nga may mga tao, they have the choices, no? They could go to Canada, they could go to America, but they choose the United Kingdom. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to make nga that decision, of course gusto nyo siguraduhin that they can really actually employ you. And the upside nga of this, the Care Quality Commission, is hopefully nga yung mga taong unfortunately I've come across people, carers nga na inaabuso dito. It sadly happens, no? I think for the majority it's not the case na nandito nga sila, maigi yung trabaho, masaya nga sila dito, and they continue of course to work and be able to bring until recently be able to bring their family into the UK. But it's not always the case. I've come across nga some carers who are clearly not in a great, not even safe sometimes, no, work environment. So hopefully itong addition nga, the registration with the Care Quality Commission hopefully will help in monitoring, making sure nga ang employer that they do the right thing, and ensure that you have a safe and relatively happy working environment. So yun ang unang-una po. Yung employer nyo, hindi nga lang na kailangan meron silang lisensya to be able to give you the cost, the certificate of sponsorship, but also kailangan na register sila with the Care Quality Commission. Yun ang unang-una. Now, there are the changes, no? From the 11th of March, 3 days ago, 11th of March, today is the 14th of March, care workers and indeed senior care workers will no longer be able to bring dependents into the UK. So, ibig sabihin, asawa nyo, mga anak nyo. Until then, you could. And certainly, I have a number of clients nga na usually silang nauuna tapos kinukuha na yung mga pamilya nila dito. Or sometimes sabay-sabay nga, no? And sometimes also the employer gets 2 for 1 in that yung applicant nga may visa siya dito as a care, yung asawa carer nga din. So unfortunately from the 11th of March, so it's now the 14th na tayo, so it's already in play, no longer be able to bring dependents, anak o asawa into the United Kingdom. But there are some exemptions, okay? So, care workers and senior care workers nga, kung nandito na nga kayo, so nandito na kayo under that route, may visa na kayo, nagtatrabaho na kayo dito, nandito na din ang pamilya nyo, they will simply be able to extend with you, no, their visa. And then, and also with you, can apply for settlement in the United Kingdom in due course. So, kung nandito na nga kayong lahat, huwag kayong mag-alala, pwede nyo extend, hindi nyo kailangan silang pauwiin sa atin. So the children and your husband or wife nga in the UK can remain in the UK with you. Now, what happens though kung sabihin natin nandito na nga kayo? I have a few of these actually. People have been panicking actually of recently. So nandito na nga kayo, nagtatrabaho nga kayo, pero hindi nyo pa nakukuha ang asawa nyo o anak nyo nga dito. Can you still do so? Yes, you can. You would still, then you already are here as a carer. So yung lumang batas ang applicable nga sa inyo. So you can apply for them to enter the United Kingdom to join you in the UK. Yung emphasize nyo nga lang when they make an application that of course, nandito na nga kayo and you were here prior to the change nga on the 11th of March. So you can, which is good news because that was a big concern. Now, if you are on any other route, so sabihin natin nandito kayo as a spouse, no? Spouse visa sabihin natin. Pero hindi nga may nangyari sa marriage nyo, you can't extend for whatever reason the spouse visa. Tapos gusto nyong palitan to a care visa, no? And you can do that. So you can change your spouse visa to say something that allows you to work. Sabihin natin nasa carer. Kung mangyayari, kung ang application nyo, gagawin nyo na nga lang ngayon, spouse visa nga kayo ngayon, ang magpapasok yung care visa, papalitan yung spouse visa nyo to care visa nga ngayon, of course, nagbago ng batas. No? So of course, now it's the 14th of March. So ibig sabihin, you will not be able to bring your family into the United Kingdom. So kung naiwan nga yung mga bata sa atin, hindi nyo na sila makukuha as a carer. There may be other routes, but as a carer, hindi na nga po. No? Unfortunately. So the change of the law is on what happened on the 11th of March. Kung nandito na nga kayo, so ibig sabihin yung batas nga, yung lumang batas ang applicable sa inyo. Kung wala pa kayo dito, then yung panibagong batas ang applicable nga sa inyo. That unfortunately means no spouse, no children. Now, it could be, no, makakuha, so 5 taon kayo dito, sabihin natin, dumating nga kayo dito, trabaho, 5 taon, no, 5 years pass, you get indefinite leave to remain. And of course, you can still apply for indefinite leave to remain. Noon, pwede nyo kunin yung asawa nyo dahil indefinite na nga kayo, ibang batas, asawa nyo, anak nyo. Now, of course, 5 years is a long time. And a concern, certainly, that I have, and most people have, no practitioners, is yung mga bata. No? Dahil ang deadline po ay 18. So kung paso na silang 18 in 5 years time, nung lang sila makukuha, hindi mo sila makukuha as a dependent, which would be a great shame. I have concerns about it. I can see why they introduced it. I don't agree with it, but I can see why they did. No, but it's so at the moment nga, it is a difficulty. Pero sabihin natin yung mga anak niyo batang-bata pa, then one way of looking at it is dito muna kayo, kayod na, uwi sa atin, means taon-taon, or twice a year, one would hope, and then you can make an application pagka indefinite na kayo to bring them into the United Kingdom. Now, income, okay? So this is also something that has confused an awful lot of people. So let's have a look at that. So the general workers, no, under the points-based system, tataas nga ang income nila, or an income requirement really. So at the moment, the income requirement, minimum income requirement for most jobs is 26,200. Tataas po yun sa 38,700. But kung carer kayo, you're exempt from that, okay? Because you're part of the health and social care visa route. And those people, so nurses, for example, doctors nga, certainly senior carers and carers nga are exempt from the hike of 26,200 to 38,700. But, of course, kalimutan, meron pa rin minimum salary requirement, no? Now, in the UK, every year, usually on the 1st of April, 5th of April, 1st of April, tumataas, no? Every year, the minimum income requirement or minimum income rate, no, changes. And so the minimum income rate for carers now must not be below the minimum income requirement nga, or income rate, which is if you're working 37 hours, 37.5 hours at the moment po, no, is 20,960 pounds, which works out to be about exactly £10.75 per hour. If you're working 37.5 hours, then income nyo per year is 20,960. So minimum po yun for a carer. Now, 1st of April, tataas ang sweldo, ang rate nga, no? And it's going to go up to £11.44 for those of you who are over 21 years. So tataas po yun on the 1st of April. So what? That's two and a bit weeks time. So ibig sabihin, I've done the calculation for you. On 37 hours or 37.5 hours, the income per annum before tax now goes up to £22,308. Okay, so at least carers do not need to earn the hike of 38,700, but there should be a minimum income of £11.44 per hour, or on a 37.5 hour week it's 22,308 pounds. So it's not it's all changed now. But as I say, ang maganda nga, look, you can still enter the UK as a carer you can still apply for indefinite leave to remain after 5 years. And at that point, kung gusto nyo kunin yung pamilya nyo, kung pwede pa silang kunin, then you can make an application, of course, for them to join you as your dependents. Now, but nevertheless, no, it's a change that's that is restricting. Unfortunately, as I say, I don't agree with it, but I can see why they introduced it. If their aim is to limit the net migration into the United Kingdom, but things to bear those things in mind kung yun po ang plano yung pumasok nga dito, because so hindi nga lang basta-basta na nga, no? And bear in mind also yung employer, no, the additional requirement. So hopefully that was of interest to you. I mean, I really don't like imparting bad news na, but sometimes, as I say, no, kailangan yung malaman. It's better to know kung may problema. Clients actually always say this to me. My clients are not just lovely, but also they're very wise, no? And some of them come up with the wisest things. Sabi nga nila, no, it's better to know. Mas magandang malaman natin, malaman kong problema. So alam ko kung may solusyon. Or rather than not know it. Actually, a very wise client told me that only yesterday. So it's so it's better to know. Now, having given you kind of sad news, no? I want to lift up my own spirit and see if my favorite segment of the show. Not I dislike the others. I do, no. Many of you will know I do like to talk, no? So I do enjoy Andy talk, but I do like those people